now therefore children, and depart
Yeah. Praise the mighty Yah. Welcome to the House of Yahudah here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Minister Michael Israel, and it is an honor and a privilege to come before the great congregations, both here in Cincinnati and for those that may be watching abroad. All right, so let's get started. All right, let's open up with a prayer, and I'll sing the Shema, and then we'll go into scripture reading. All right. All right. Thank you, Yah, for your mercy and your compassion. Thank you for your protection and your guidance. Thank you for allowing your people, your servants, your children to be able to rest on your holy day. Thank you for creating this great day. Blessed be your holy and righteous name. Pray, Yah, that you open our hearts to receive the edification of you so that we can begin to reconstruct our steps, build and become closer to you, mighty Yah. Thank you for allowing us to be able to broadcast and be able to have a place to worship and praise you in. Thank you. Bless you. Shema Israel. Shema Israel. Yah Eloheinu. Yah Eloheinu. Yah Eloheinu. Yah Akah. Yah Akah. Shema Israel. Yah Eloheinu. Eloheinu. Yah Akah. Hear, O Israel. Yah Elohim. Yah is one. Amen. Praise Yahweh. So, Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise the Most High Yahweh. And today, what I would like to do is, let's see. Well, I'm really not going to switch up the format too much. I'm not going to worry about switching up the format. Let's see. Turn with me to the book of Psalms 117. Turn with me to the book of Psalms 117. Hallelujah. Psalms 117, it reads, "O praise Yah, all ye nations. O praise Yah, all ye nations. Praise him, all ye people. For his merciful kindness is great toward us, and the truth of Yah endureth forever. Forever. Praise ye Yah." I know just a little, we just now really getting up and starting. So what I would like to do is I'm going to check the messages here, see if anyone is on, if everything is good as far as the clarity in the picture, if the volume is good, if you can hear me. Type in praise Yah with an exclamation point. I want you to scream it out to praise Yah. and because I want to make sure that everything is good for today's Sabbath lessons. All right. So now I'm going to open up with a testimony. And what I would like to do is I want to thank the Almighty. My daughter is she's on a trip. And praise Yahweh that my daughter and my mom made it to their destination. Praise Yah for that, for his guidance. My wife is, praise Yah, my wife is feeling a little better. She's getting better. She's getting stronger. Praise Yah for that. And I thank Yahweh for our house of Yahudah. And as I stated in my prayer, for allowing us to be able to broadcast, praise the mighty Yah. Right? So what I'll do is we'll take a moment, and if there are any other testimonies, feel free to share. Praise Yah. All right. All right, so now let's go ahead, and as the day goes on, what we'll do is Yah, by his will, we will, this is a whole day of testifying to how great Yah is. So, you don't have to, if you want to comment, if you want to ask questions, I'll open up for questions. And I have a few questions that I was asked last week to discuss. So y'all willing, we're going to cover those questions as well. And then I want to share my thoughts that I had this week. Praise Yah. So we can testify all day. All right, so now let's go into our Sabbath reading. Turn with me to the book of Psalms, Psalms chapter 23. We'll start there. Psalms chapter 23. Let us begin our reading. Yah is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yah forever. Praise Yah. Now let us go to the book of Psalms 119. And we left off last week on verse 40. We'll pick up in verse 41 and read to verse 51. It's 10 verses. Psalms 119, starting at verse 41, it reads, Let thy mercies come also unto me, O Yah, even thy salvation according to thy word. So shall I have wherewith to answer he that reproacheth me. For I trust in thy word. And take not the word of truth utterly out of my mouth, for I have hoped in thy judgments. So shall I keep thy law continually forever and ever. And I will walk at liberty, for I seek thy precepts. I will speak of thy testimonies also before kings, and will not be ashamed. And I will delight myself in thy commandments, which I have loved. My hands also will I lift up unto thy commandments, which I have. Shalom, shalom. Psalms 119, shalom, bro. 119 and verse 48 again, it says, it reads, my hands also will I lift up unto thy commandments, which I loved, and I will meditate thy statutes. Remember the word unto thy servant, upon which thou hast caused me to hope. This is my comfort in my affliction. Thy word hath quickened me. The proud have had me greatly in derision, yet have I not declined from thy law. Praise Yah. Right. Praise Yahweh. Next reading will be in the book of Psalms 92. In the book of Psalms 92, we'll start reading. Let us all take a verse. I'll start at verse 1 when everyone gets there. I have a question that I want to ask. Is it okay for a man to let me think on that question a little bit more, because it sounded good in my head, but I don't know how it's going to come out. So I'll start at the first verse of Psalms 92. It reads, it is a good thing to give thanks unto Yah, and to sing praises unto my name, O Most High.
Kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night.
On the instrument of 10 strings, on the psaltery, on the harp with a solemn sound.
Thou, Yah, hast made me glad through thy work, will triumph in the works of thy hands.
O Yah, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very good.
A brutish man knoweth not, neither doeth the fool understand this.
When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever.
But thou, Yah, art most high forever. Yeah.
For lo, thine enemies, O Yah, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered.
For my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
My eyes also shall see my desire are my enemies, and my ears shall hear my desires of the wicked that rise up against me.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
Those that be planted in the house of Yah shall flourish in the courts of our Elohim.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing.
To shew that Yah is upright. He is my rock. There is no unrighteousness in him.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. On what we just read, are there any comments? Go to the board. This is really disgusting. Drink it.
verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For thou, Yah, has made me glad through thy works. I'll try to do the works of thy hands. Majority of the time, we might have our own destiny in our own minds.
Mm-hmm.
Most High, He has put His works on you, for lack of better words. Where, like, no matter what, His ultimate plan is going to show, regardless of what you.
That's a good point. I don't think a lot of us think about that. That we may have a plan to do one thing, but the Almighty has a plan for something else. Guess what? His plan is always going to work through. Praise y'all. I missed y'all last week. How are you feeling? Yeah, praise y'all. Yeah. That's all a man can really say when a woman says that. She's, yeah. We don't know nothing about that. You women are special. All right. So now let's go into the 10 Commandments. Unless there are any other comments on that chapter, but we can always return back. So it don't mean it has to be over. Let's turn to the 10 Commandments. Turn with me to the book of Exodus chapter 20. And let us we'll all take a verse out of that chapter. Exodus chapter 20, those are the commandments. I'll start at the first verse. It reads, And Elohim spake all these words, saying, I, YAH, your Elohim, I am YAH, thy Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Elohims before me.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any engraved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters underneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Elohim, that YAH, that Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation, and them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
Beautiful.
Thou shalt not take the name of Yah the Elohim in vain. For Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of YAH thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days YAH made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is. The rest is the seventh day. Therefore YAH blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Honor thy father and thy mother, and thy days may be long upon the land which Elohim, Yahweh of thy Elohim giveth thee.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not murder.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Praise Yah. Let's see here. I had a couple questions from the commandments. Oh, here we go. Let's go up to verse 5 when it talks about thou shalt not, not verse 5. Let's go up to verse 4. It says, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. What is a graven image?
It's something you make with the intent of like worshiping. 'Cause I used to think it was just like stuff like this. I was studying, I had game when I was little. Like we couldn't put action figures and none of that. 'Cause I was told their image.
Right.
And when I got older, man, it was explained to me differently. It's not something I was like made with the intent of worshiping.
Yep. That's exactly what a graven image is. Graven image is something that you worship. When you read through our scriptures, we had images on everything. There was images on the Ark of the Covenant, the cherubims. Those were images. There were images of lions, and there were things that were carved on shields and on medallions. So we had images. But a graven image is exactly that, something that's created to be worshipped. For example, Christ, the Christ of the New Testament, the cross, those could be considered graven images, especially the cross. The cross itself is a representation of the sacrifice that the Christian God made. So that's a graven image. The statue that Nebuchadnezzar created from his dream that was interpreted by Daniel, that is a graven image. He had created that image and told the people that at certain times of the day when he heard the music, they would have stopped doing basically what they were doing and bow down to this image. So you're absolutely right, a graven image. Now, when it comes to covetousness, to covet, what does it mean to covet? Desire. Okay. So, when you read that last commandment, who in that last commandment, and we take out when you deal with covetousness is wickedness. That's sort of like the wicked form of desire. But let's say that we took out the word covet and added and put the word desire there, because that's what it means. It says, thou shalt not desire thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not desire thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So, the latter part of that commandment, where it says, nor anything that is thy neighbor's, what exactly is that entailing? Everything. Like what? Anything. Very good. So I guess that means that I can't desire my neighbor's daughter or son. Well, I wouldn't desire the son, but I couldn't desire my neighbor's daughter, right? If I was single and his daughter and we are the same age, and I'm like, yo, I want her. She beautiful. Can I desire my neighbor's daughter? And what I mean by daughter, I'm not talking about a child. I'm talking about a grown woman. Can I desire my neighbor's daughter if she's beautiful? It says here, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Isn't covet like a strong desire? Like,
I'm not kidnapping. Like, you can marry her. You don't like.
Why can't I?
because having too much desire, like too much, wanting something too much is a bad thing.
Wanting something too much is a bad thing. So wanting to be too righteous is a bad thing. Wanting to desire to just be an awesome individual, that could be a bad thing if you want it too much, right?
Yeah. You might want to be so righteous that you're like over like doing everything. Like
Now you telling people how to serve the Lord.
Yeah. We're
You-
like,
you gonna-
Isn't that what I do as a minister?
but I don't know, because when I had asked what covenant was, it was
Right.
told like it's a strong desire.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, it's kind of like how yesterday when I had picked up Cameron from his job, like, you know, there was a little younger boys there like saying how like they could rob the store or whatever. But it's like y'all young, you got that mindset that like you might not think right and stuff. And so like they desiring to get to a place so bad that they might do something in the wrong way to get to where they are trying to get. In a sense.
Gotcha. So it's not necessarily desiring something too much, it's what you desire too much of that could be an issue then.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure that if your fiance says to you, I desire to be a great servant of Yah and a good husband, are you gonna tell him don't be too good though? Are you gonna tell him that? Don't desire that too much now. I don't want you to desire to be too good of a guy. You understand? I want a little thug. I want a little roughness. You know, I want a little bad. Nah, you gonna tell him like praise Yahweh. Just as you go to your fiance and you say, babe, I desire to be a good servant. I want to be a great servant to Yah and a good wife. He ain't gonna go. Only a fool would be like, nah, let's talk about don't be too good now. You know,
But
nah.
isn't that why covet is there and not the word desire in a sense?
Yeah.
Covet means more like a
When you think of covetousness, there's nothing positive about covetousness. Nothing positive about it. It's a
desire.
negative, right? Right. It's a negative form of desire, basically. But you can desire. The one thing that's left out here is every man. I don't know any man that said on this earth, and it might be, I don't know, but I don't know any man that would have went, you a woman, I'm a man, let's do this. You know, woman could look like a wildebeest. He ain't just lay with her. You know, I mean, there's even in the animal kingdom, there's a desire. When you look at not flamingos, but peacocks. Peacocks flash when it's time for mating. They flash their feathers and they shake them around to entice. The lions, they walk around. Dogs do the same thing. They sniff around. You know what I'm saying? So desire, there's nothing wrong with desiring something. Like to desire to be good, to desire, if a man wants his neighbor's daughter, and I'm not talking about she's a child, I'm talking about she's a grown woman, she's 20 years old. You looking like, damn, she looking good. You know what I'm saying? And you want to get that woman, then you can desire your neighbor's daughter. Just like you a woman and he has a grown adult son and you desire him, you can desire him. If you're a single woman, you can say, ooh, I want to marry him. You understand? So, good. I'm glad we came to that understanding. Praise Yah. Now I'm going to ask a question that's going to sort of, I don't know. It made me think when I heard it. I don't know how it's going to affect you guys. But let's go through our affirmation. Let's do our affirmation first. Praise Yah. Repeat after me. I am strong. I am wise. I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
I am created a little lower than the angels. Selah. Praise Yah. Very good. Very good. All right. Turn with me to the book of Genesis, chapter 3. to share a thought with you guys. Those that may be listening, let me share this thought with you. In the book of Genesis, chapter 3, Sam, would you read start at verse 1? Thank you.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which I had made. He said to the woman, Yea, as Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree in the garden. And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, You shall not touch of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for Elohim doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired, to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. The eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together, made themselves aprons.
All right, pause. Now, for those that just now tuned in, we're in the book of Genesis, chapter 3, and I have a question that I meditated on this week, and I want to discuss it with you guys. Is this talking about actual fruit? Yes, sir. Yes, we're in Genesis chapter 3. We're in Genesis chapter 3. Is that talking about actual fruit? Yes.
Said it was fruit.
Very good. It does say it was fruit.
Are we talking about the forbidden fruit?
Yeah. The fruit from that was forbidden for them to eat off of the tree. The tree of knowing good and evil. I know what the scriptures say. But what was the fruit? Well, that's my question. What was the fruit? For years we've been told that it was the apple, right? We got apples today. Had an apple a while ago. Didn't make me know any more about good and evil. We already knew about that, right? So was it an orange? Was it a pear tree? What type of fruit was it?
Must have been a colorful
Had to be. For it to be
rainbow.
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been a rainbow fruit. You're right. It could have been rainbow fruit. Or maybe the fruit is just metaphor. Could it be that they didn't really eat fruit from a tree? Because you can consume a lot of things without chewing. You can consume things through listening, through thought. You can consume things through influence, right? If someone that's very influential stands up and says something that you feel is powerful because you're influenced by them, you ever heard the term like, man, I was listening to him, I was just eating up that wisdom. I was just eating it up. Maybe this is metaphoric. Maybe this is something where they really didn't eat fruit. What was the fruit? And then eat from the tree of, because obviously there was a tree of, they got kicked out the garden because the Almighty says get them out before they eat from the tree of life and live forever. So that tree had fruit on it. So obviously the fruit that we have today is not the fruit that was on these trees. Then because it says something here. After the serpent was talking to her, in verse 6 it says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. What changed about that tree after the serpent talked to her? That tree didn't change colors. It didn't change shape. It was the same tree that was there before the serpent talked to her. So what happened? Why all of a sudden now she's looking at it like, oh, it is good for food? Even though she told the serpent beforehand, hey, we can't eat from this tree. He said we can eat from every other tree, but not this tree. Which means that there was something that took place, something that happened for her to see that this tree was good for food. Maybe it was the tongue of the serpent that was so convincing that was so enchanting that maybe that was what she consumed. And when it says she gave it to her husband, maybe after the serpent spoke to her, she went and spoke to him. And he was like, oh, that's crazy. That's deep. Oh, man, that's crazy. Oh, I get it. Oh, man, we naked. That don't mean that this is wrong. They could actually eat fruit, but I just wanted to share that thought and see what you guys thought. I just wanted to share it and see so we can have a dialogue about it. So mull it over, think about it for a second, and maybe we can get into a dialogue about that. Is that more metaphoric or is that literal?
Like it was more literal. Because it said they ate, so they definitely ate something.
Yeah. But you can eat a lot of things without it having to go in your mouth. Yeah. You ever ate knowledge? Have you ever had a plate of knowledge? I haven't seen a plate of knowledge. I haven't seen it. But you can consume. See, eating is just a form of consumption. Consuming something. You can consume a lot of things. You ever seen a little baby that's so adorable? You be like, I saw my little niece, she was so pretty, I just ate her up. You ain't a cannibal. You were enamored, or you were engulfed in how beautiful the baby is. So I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm not saying that. Just giving us a thought. Let me see. My wife made a comment. Praise Yah. My wife said Shabbat Shalom. I think that it was an actual tangible tree. I don't think scripture leaves matchup for interpretation. However, I do think that you can look at it metaphorically as well. Praise Yahweh. Beautiful point, babe. She's thinking that it's actually talking about a tree. She's saying that. So I just thought I would bust this out for conversation because I got a few thoughts here. Yeah, we're going to discuss today. And that was just one of them. As it stands right now, it was a tree. And it was actual fruit. But I'm here to tell you that it definitely wasn't an apple. Yeah, it's a fruit that we don't have access to. There you go. That's right. You can't go to Walmart and be like, let me get some of that tree of life fruit. Let me get a bag of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Praise Yah. So very good. Yes, ma'am.
So, you know how they be having jewelry and they be saying like it's like it has the tree of life on it and stuff like that. Is that supposed to be like the tree in this, like that they put on jewelry?
If they're saying that it's the tree of life, yes. However, there's spirituality is not contained just to the Almighty. Spirituality is people add and create different ideologies. So when it comes to spirituality and they talk about the tree of life, the beauty behind Yahweh is no matter what religion you're in or what spiritual walk you choose to take, it always reverts back to the Almighty Yah. Always. So yeah, when they use and talk about this is the tree of life, that's what they're talking about. But of course, we don't know what the tree of life looks like.
So they're just kind of like putting the image to it.
Yeah, just the same way. And I'm just saying this not to attack Christianity, but that's the same thing that happened with Christ. They don't really know what he looked like. They don't know what he looks like. Now they say because he don't fit the description that's even in the New Testament. It didn't say his feet was white as snow and his eyes was blue as river water or his hair was stringy like, you know what I'm saying, like long strings of string. You know, he had hair of wool. He had hair of wool, but that's what happens when we live in a society that instead of just serving the Most High, we make up a God that fits our needs. Because you notice, outside of all religions, including Islam, where you have two religions that don't have an image of their a God. And that's Hebrew Israelites, Islam. They don't have an image of ALLAH. And don't have an image of YAH. But in every other religion, there's an image of a God that either looks like an animal, even in African spirituality, they have so many gods. They even got a God, and I'm not gonna name his name, and I was disappointed because it was one of my favorite children's books that I would read to the children, and I would do it in my accent, and they would just love it. But I was saying the name, forgive me, y'all, I was saying the name of the God, and I didn't know it. And it's spelled ANANSI. I think that's how it's spelled. That's the name of the God. And the book was about a spider. And it was a mischievous spider. Well, that's this God. The God he has a human face with a spider's body. And this is the God of mischief. Yeah. That's why when you go and you buy African artifacts, don't just buy African artifacts because you like, ooh, this will look dope in my house. Ask the history behind it. Because a lot of those masks that we purchase from these places could be images of their gods. When we buy these little statues and it's like, ooh, that look like a woman. Okay, well, give me history behind this. When we buy African garments, sometimes the designs, what I found out, the designs. Like, for example, the most popular African print is kente. But kente represents something. The colorful orange and the most popular kente, that's worn for funerals. But we walk around with it not understanding. And kente have different colors, even depending upon, because what the common people wear in kente are not the same. It's not the same kente that's worn by higher ups, like kings and princesses or queens. You understand? Sometimes when we buy African stuff, we buy it and they have like little masks. I even found out that some colors can represent the gods. You just have to ask and go to a reputable African store or research it yourself. What do these colors mean? I just found out because I had bought me a rug I like to pray on. And I had bought this Oriental rug. And I found out that the different designs in the Oriental rugs represent things, even things in the spiritual world. You got to research. You got to read and be careful what you bring into your house. There's even certain Hebrew things that I don't really fool with because I don't know what the Hebrew characters mean. So study. That's why I'm introducing different words, and I gotta go get a dry erase board because we're gonna go over the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. So we're gonna be doing that too. We're gonna be dealing with the Hebrew alphabet as well. So that was just something I wanted us to think about with the tree, with the fruit. Now let's get to writing. Here's my next thought. Write down these 3 words. Did you do the homework? Write down these 3 words. It was something me and him had talked about. Write down these 3 words. Perfect. And make space in between them. Holy. And righteous. All right. The definition for the word holy is sacred. Sacred. The definition for the word perfect. And these are definitions from the Hebrew thesaurus or dictionary. The word perfect means complete, accomplished. The word righteous means right, just, upright, and innocent. Now what we're going to do is, let's look at these 3 words here. Are there any similarities between these 3 words? Yes, sir. Yes. What are the similarities between these 3 words?
They all have
Good observation. Good observation. Anyone else?
Like in one way or another, they're all synonymous.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, your man reads.
Are there any similarities?
That's adorable. So what are the similarities? What do you think, since they are synonymous with each other, what would be their similarities then? Because my man talks about, he brought out the fact that they all are a form of completion and complete.
Something that's perfect, it can also be upright. And something that's holy, it can also be just. Something that's righteous, it can also be complete and sacred.
Oh. Anybody else see something? That was pretty good. Give you a few minutes to hone it over. I got two answers that's really, really powerful for real. Let me see if there are any answers out here. Nope. Nobody's answered yet. All right. Well, these, of course, are three totally different words with three totally different meanings. But where they fall in the realm of, if you want to say similarity, is there a form of status, a state that you can be in. You could be in a state of holiness, a status, a state of holiness, a state of perfection. You could be in a state of righteousness. The word holy is a status. Turn with me to the book of Deuteronomy. Let's see here. Where I want to go. Go to Deuteronomy. Oh, go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7. Chapter 7. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 7. And Tim, nephew, would you read for me verse 6?
Thou art an holy people unto Yah the Elohim. I have chosen you to be a special people unto himself. All the people that are on the face of the earth.
Now, pause. We are a holy people, right? That's the status that we're in. So, you choose to be Israel, or not choose to be Israel, you're Israel. That is the state that the Almighty created us in. He created us to be holy. Maybe that could contribute to a lot of the reason why we struggle in our lives. Why we have problems mentally. Why we have problems with our relationships. Maybe even could us not being willing to live in that state of holiness have anything to do with financial issues. Because the Almighty said, you holy. You're holy. Hold this, and let's not hold this, but let's go to the book of Leviticus. Leviticus 19. Leviticus chapter 19. I'm going to read verses 1 and 2. Leviticus 19. It says in verse 1, and Yah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel. See, this wasn't something, a message for all the other nations. No. Even the Egyptians are not part of this. He says, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, ye shall be holy. Why? Because it says, ye shall be holy, for I, Yah, your Elohim, am holy. So Israel is a holy nation. That is the state we should be in. Now, living in these days and times, is it possible to be in a state of holiness? With all this, you know, everything is sexual. You notice that? I mean, we had little characters when we was coming up as children. You know, He-Man, all he had on was his little fur drawers, you know. And he muscle man, but he was, you know, we didn't look at that. We was like, man, He-Man, look at the power he got. And She-Ra had a one-piece outfit with a cape. She had on a little crown, a little sword, because I think she was He-Man's cousin. You know, if you like Thundercats, I used to watch Thundercats, Panthro, Lion, though, you know, all these different characters. These different characters. But now when you look at cartoons, then when I got a little older, I started watching anime. And I start seeing things like, oh my gosh. You a young man, why am I getting turned on by this cartoon character? As a young man, that's probably why y'all boys like anime. I'm like, man, I mean, these women are bouncing all over the place, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Everything that, but anime wasn't on regular channels though. You had to watch, and they came on late at night. The anime cartoons came on late at night, and they were some of the most goriest and sexual cartoons. Like, you will see two cartoons, like cartoon sex. Like, that's funny to me. Like how they just move and everything. You'd be like, oh my gosh. But that's as a young man, you know, 16 watching that stuff late at night. Got your door locked. You know what I'm saying? And then, as time goes on, now, cartoons, now, it's just out in the open. I'm talking about Disney. Disney cartoons. There's no reason why all the women in these Disney cartoons should be as thick as they are. Man, you looking at them cartoons like, why is The Incredibles, why is his wife so thick? Why is she dressed like that? And then you look at these and you be like, oh, everything is oversexed now. You can't, it used to be when you could take your child and you could be in the kitchen cooking and you could sit them down in front of the cartoons and watch cartoons. Now, you gotta watch the cartoon with them to make sure that it's okay. I even found out about the rating system on how they rate cartoons and movies. Basically, they have people in there that, you know, I guess they just needed people, and they rate the movies. That's why you could watch a movie and be like, he just blew that dude's head off. Why is this PG-13? Well, because they didn't show the weapon. His head just exploded. Okay. Sexual content. You know what I'm saying? You see in cartoons, they kissing. That was okay in some cartoons. They would kiss and big heart would come and all flutter the room. Now, they actually kissing in these cartoons. And then there was one cartoon that we went to go see a while ago. It was something Crazy World or something. And we watching it, and it's, I guess as the movie go on, the young man in the cartoon is gay, who had a crush on a boy. And I'm sitting there like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then you go to school, and the children are oversexed. Now, when I was in school as a young man, yes, I was a horn dog. I was a young boy. Boys mature sexually more earlier than girls do. At least I thought that was the statistics then. Now, these young girls are fast. I asked one of the young ladies, I said, why do y'all tie y'all shirt and jacket up in the back? If you're trying to get it to fit, you can just tie it on the side or buy a jacket that fits. And then I said to her, I said, why y'all do that? She said, because. I said, because what? I said, now I'm talking to you like a father now. Because of what? But because, I just said, all right, I knew exactly the reason why. And I asked her, I said, now what happens if you get the wrong attention because of what you're trying to do? It's grown men walking around and you going around doing this. What happens if you get the wrong attention? And she just giggled. I said, oh, y'all think it's funny. It's not. It's not. We went on a field trip, and it's Catholic. You know, people think I'm going to send my child to a Catholic school. I'm going to be honest with you. Them are some of the most biggest freaks. I'm just being honest with you. They are fast. You ever seen the little girls in their little Catholic dresses? Me and my wife was out one day, and we was like, look at this. It was cold outside. That's one thing if you're going to wear your Catholic, but some of them had on jogging pants up under it or leggings. That's fine. Some of them didn't. Some of them didn't. And then look how we dress our children. We dress them up to be little fast. Talking about, look at my baby, she gonna be thick. What the? That's a child. And you put them on and oh my gosh. When the world created leggings, I don't know. Everything is a legging now. They dress them up now. Everybody wearing leggings. You know. When they removed the dress code, when I was with Cincinnati Public Schools, and they removed the dress code from the school I was at, girls was coming in with cat suits on. And if you don't know what a cat suit is, y'all females know what that is, right? That's that one piece leotard that sometimes they wear the sweater over with. Nah, they was coming in here in cat suits.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, they call them. Isn't that? I think so. I guess. Let me see. I guess there's a woman correcting me somewhere. I feel it.
Well, I don't know what they call
No.
it. I just know it's a one piece.
Nah, they call them like little cat suits. A little whole one piece. And they coming in just walking around like. Oh. So then that goes back to my question. Is it possible to be holy in these days and times? You get mocked for being a good guy, don't you? Don't you ladies like the bad boys? Y'all don't like the dude that don't smoke weed, don't drink. Sort of a homebody. But he come home, he take care of his family. Oh, that's boring to some of y'all women. Y'all like the Raheems. The ones that live in the street. Don't work, might drive Uber, might not. And like you said, that's too much drama, but unfortunately, Y'all love that stuff, man. Y'all don't like a dude that would. Let's be honest with you. Would y'all really want a man like Job? Look, y'all got to think
Get
about it.
things done. He would get things done.
Yeah. Would y'all think about it? Would y'all really want a man that's like Job in your
Think
life?
about it for a second.
Man, yeah, Job. Yeah, Job was serious about the law. Yeah, go ahead, my man. I'm
So
sorry.
that's something, in these movies and in these comedies, and they make it seem like the bad person is the good person and the
They sure
good
do.
person is the bad. Like
Yep.
that's I noticed that. Like I noticed that in movies and stuff.
They do. They do. If you are a Marvel fan, see, I'm a Marvel fan. So if you're a Marvel fan, you've watched the Infinity War movies, the End Game, that one would show you where Thanos was and I looked up his name, is not a god. That was a character's name in the movie. That was a cartoon. So he was, when you look at him, they made him like, oh, all he wanted was peace. But he destroyed so much. But you don't see how he was getting that. He was destroying planets. And it made the superheroes like THOR and all them look weak. And you're right. There's a movie called Gone in 60 Seconds. It's a famous movie. It's before y'all, most of y'all time probably. But it's a famous movie. And in the movie, Nicolas Cage has a brother who got into some trouble, financial trouble, with these bad dudes. So Nicolas Cage had to steal a certain amount of cars in order to get his brother out of this debt or this trouble. And you watching it, like you said, man, this dude is stealing people's cars. And you watching it and you would go, come on, Nick. Oh, man, watch out. Here come the police. Don't get him. And you watching it like, well, why am I rooting for the thief? Movies like Ocean's 11. It was a group of organized thieves. And you like, oh, man, watch out for them. There was another movie, The Italian Job, with Mark Wahlberg in it. They were all thieves. Professional thieves. But there was one thief that was worse than the other. The Fast and Furious movies. I didn't see that one. I ain't really a big Nicolas Cage fan, so I ain't really watched that one. But yeah, movies like that. Then you got Tomb Raider. Okay, I see what you're saying.
He stole the Declaration of Independence because the people that he was working with was gonna go steal it, and they had tried to blow him up in like the boat that like it's just treasure that they're trying to hide from the British or whatever.
And you see, and sometimes we root for them. Get away, hurry up, hide the money. But you be like, but you start thinking like, think if you was watching this type of movie with Job. Would Job be rooting for the thief? Job would be like, why are you clapping your hands for this abomination?
I don't think I watch those type of movies.
You know what? I agree with you. I don't think he would either. Yeah, Animal Planet, or he would probably watch them movies, but y'all probably wouldn't want to sit with him and watch it. Because he would critique. I'm talking about these movies that we like. He'll be critiquing like, man, you like this wickedness? You'll be like, Job is just a movie. No. Movies imitate life. You like this? So again, I ask, could we, or is it possible for us to be holy, to be in our state of holiness, how the Almighty created us to be, even in these days and times? Is it possible? And I was just naming all those different examples of what we're surrounded by. Like, let me ask the ladies a question. And I want the ladies to be totally honest. Oh, praise y'all. Hey, what's up, Gary? Thank you, brother. He said bodysuits. Thank you, brother Gary. Thank you. Brother Gary, how you know though? I'm messing with you, brother Gary. Shalom, brother. Shalom, family. But is it possible? And the question I want to ask the ladies is, because in these days and times, a lot of you sisters y'all are very aggressive when it comes to relationships and having premarital relations. Would y'all be willing to wait if you got a man? If y'all had a man that said, I want to wait till we marry before we have sex. I mean, he might kiss you, but he ain't gonna do nothing else with you.
No teasing, no touching, no nothing. Yeah.
No touching, no teasing, no none of that. He just like, nah. Cause he's afraid. Cause not afraid, but he don't want to lead up to that. Would y'all be willing to do that?
Foreplay that tends to lead to a sexual.
All right. Okay. I mean, nothing. No rubbing, no touching. Get a kiss on the lips and hold your hand. That's the most. Most women would be like, even in Israel, probably couldn't deal with that. Maybe that's why we have so many sisters having babies without husbands.
Think about it. It will let your relationship grow in the other family. And the marriage part wouldn't take so long for them to, they would know, like, okay, yeah, I want to marry her. Like, I've seen people get married within 2 months of knowing each other, and then they have a marriage for a lifetime. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You gotta know what to focus on in the relationship if you want.
I agree. But could y'all hold back your desires from other men during that time? I'm talking about y'all go take a trip. No. This man so righteous, he says, we're going to get 2 rooms. You're going to get your own room, I'm going to get my own room, and we're going to take a trip together. And you like, okay. So y'all on the beach, y'all at the park, and it's all beautiful and nice outside, and you sitting there, and you got this man walks by, muscled up, lathered in oil, not lathered like a chicken wing, but he got oil on and, you know, smelling good. And he walked past you. He might even go, how you doing today? Can y'all be all right with that?
That's like watching Baywatch. Like, Zac Efron is in that movie and come off the beach. Like, everybody wants to go see that movie because he was shirtless. But that was so unnecessary. Like,
okay, good. So then what we have just discussed is that it is possible to live in that status of holiness then. Do I have to lie to you? Let me ask. Let me ask this question, y'all. And I want y'all to be totally honest. Are there times that that in a relationship, I ain't talking about it's life or death, but are there times in a relationship where I should lie to you? Just to keep the peace. That's my question. Are there times in our relationship that I should lie to you, or that we should lie to each other? Are there times?
What are you lying about? I wouldn't know like liars.
No, I just threw the question out there. The question is either a yes or a no. And if so, explain. If no, explain. Explain. Why?
Because Yahweh don't like liars.
Okay, very good. Because Yahweh don't like a liar. Very good. So there's never a time to lie in your relationship? Like you're 100% honest?
I mean, if that's the person that you gonna end up marrying, like, why hide something from my life? And everything tends to get uncovered eventually, and it's
Okay.
more like, I don't know, lying is like trying to like cover up or like not tell the 100% the truth, or like, it's like, why can't you just be honest if you're like in a relationship with somebody that you trust, love, and like tend to spend the rest of your life with? Why can't you just be honest?
Very good. Very good. My brother Gary Moore, he said, I say yes, we can be holy if we apply Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Example, I won't eat from that place because they fry shrimp with their fish. Therefore, can't eat there. Eat here. Very great example, brother Gary. That's a great example. Eating in a restaurant where things are prepared the same. That's a great example of holiness. And my question also, like I said earlier, was, is there ever a time to lie to your mate? My sister said no. You have to be honest. Well, what if your mate or your husband's not good in bed?
Then you can teach. Show them what you like. They can teach you what they like. It's more communication.
And you know what's deep is that's why the Almighty, when he talks about it, that's why it's good to be married and you get you a virgin. I think that's beautiful that both of y'all are virgins. That way you guys experience each other. Experience each other. Finding a virgin nowadays is sort of like finding a needle in a haystack. A little bit. It's a little easier though. You got some that's out there like, nah, I'm waiting. But okay, very good. Anybody else agree with that? That you should be totally honest in your marriage?
Yeah.
Or in a relationship with your significant other?
Some truths may be harder to speak, but
Yes, sir.
Where you can try to avoid the questions. like
Oh,
she might
no,
ask you,
so.
she might ask you where you been. Hey, what a wonderful day we having. Switch it up.
I can tell you ain't been in no relationship yet.
I haven't.
That don't work with the women, especially the women. I don't work with women because they'll be like, "Oh, it is a nice day." But back to my question, you can only avert for so long until you just be like, "Okay, this is where I was." You understand? But okay, so it is possible to be holy even in these days and times, right?
It's more like you gotta be very dedicated and disciplined.
Dedicated and disciplined. I love that. I love that. Be dedicated and disciplined. So it is possible to be holy in these days and times. Just because we're in captivity don't mean we can't be a holy nation or we can't be holy, right? So let me ask this question. Let's say that you are a woman or a man and you're unclean. Are there any questions about uncleanliness that you have? You had your hand up first, and I'm gonna come to you, sis. You good? Okay, yes.
So I only know like unclean is like when you're on your flowers.
Mhm. Sure, let's go there. Turn will be to the book of Leviticus chapter 15. We'll deal with the one because I'm not gonna read the first part of it because that's dealing with gonorrhea. Sexually transmitted disease, having a running issue. Yeah. So we'll go into, unless y'all want to go over this law of uncleanness, we can go over the law of uncleanness and how what we do. But let's start at verse number 16. Nephew, would you read 16?
If any man's seed of copulation go out from him, and he shall wash all his flesh in water, he be unclean until the evening.
There we go. Do we know what the seed of copulation is?
It's sperm.
Yes. Very good. It's sperm. So, it says here, and if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening. So let's say you have a dream because you're trying to hold tight to your virtue, but you're still a man. And it happens. It happens. And you got sticky sheets. You get up, you see it. It says here that what should be your process of cleaning yourself?
Wash yourself, bathe yourself.
Bathe. Now, what does that entail with the bathing?
Purging.
Okay.
So you soak in water. Now, is it okay to add your little bath beads and soap and all that good stuff to the water?
What
Nope.
if it's cleanser?
Nope. He said bathe in water. That's it. Most people feel like, well, that's a shower too. No, it's not. When it talks about bathing, that's talking about submerging yourself. Not submerging, but basically having your body surrounded by water. Having your body surrounded by water. So that's bathing. Now, some people don't have a bathtub. They only have a shower. I've been in apartments like that. You just do the best you can do. You just do the best you can. Yeah, so you have to do that. I mean, you may have to just shower because you don't have a tub to bathe in. Or if you have a tub, because some people have showers like we had a shower that was really, it was kind of thick. So I was able to buy a stopper and put water in there, and then I would bathe that way. Wasn't the best, but at least I was able to do something to try. If you have a home, you can buy you a blow-up pool. Some people might be like, come on, brother, that's just doing too much. It's all in the individual. It's how far you want to actually try to do what's right. You understand? You can get you a little blow-up, but if you live in an apartment, that might be difficult to fill up a blow-up pool because you might spill it on down. So you might just have to find ways to to bathe yourself. So now, when it comes to the bathing aspect, that's what it's talking about. You are to only bathe in water. Now, once you bathe in water in that initial bath, then if you want to add your bath beads in. Another thing too that I would suggest is let me ask this question. What if your seed of copulation comes from your body, but it doesn't get on your clothes? Do you still got to wash your clothes? We'll read it in the next verse. It says in verse 17, and every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. So let's say you had relations. Let's say you saw your wife, you couldn't take it no more. She was looking good in her dress. And you just said, baby, I can't take it. And you moved stuff off the counter and you threw on the counter and y'all went to town. Well, if the seed of copulation didn't get on her dress, or if it didn't get on you, on your garment, and you just take off your garment and throw it in dirty clothes. But if the seed of copulation got on her dress, if the seed of copulation got on your pants or on you or somehow, then you have to wash everything in water. Yes.
So garments are your clothes. So what if
Yes.
it's on your sheets?
Yeah, you got to wash all that. You got to wash all that. See, here it's talking about skins. Skins, of course, when it's talking about that, it's not talking about this. It's talking about like animal skins, during that time. But yes, if it gets on your sheets, yes, you have got to wash your sheets. Yes. As a matter of fact, what I would suggest is that don't go bathe first. Get your sheets and anything that is on, get them and throw them in the washer first, because you got to touch them, and then go get in the bath, and that way you won't have to touch the stuff again. You'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? So very good, very good. So my brother Gary Moore brought in he has a subject. He says, should we lie in a relationship without explanation? We could explore the incident with Esau and Jacob. Was Rebekah honest with Isaac, and what was the result? Also, how was YAH's involved? Sorry, behind. Okay, good. All right. I know what you're saying, Brother Gary. I know what you're saying. So in other words, let's look at that. We're dealing with lying in your relationship. So I wanted to cover this with uncleanliness. Now, let me finish this with uncleanliness, and then we'll go into that point. And I'm glad, Brother Gary, thank you, brother, for bringing that up, because then we can go into that and see. Was Rebekah wrong? Did she lie to her husband, Isaac? So now let's look at this. So that's dealing with if a man is unclean by way of his seed of copulation coming from him. Now, let me ask this question. Let's say that a husband and wife is trying something new in their relationship. And I don't know. I'll save that for the podcast. That's not a Sabbath question. It's kind of explicit. I won't get explicit with it, but I won't go there. So, and if you read further on, starting at verse 19, it deals with the woman on her flowers. That means she's on her period, if you don't know what that means. Now, a woman is on her flowers for how long? 7 days, right? So, what happens to that woman? So let's read about it. Verse 19, it says, in Leviticus 15 and 19, it says, and if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days. Now, put apart, that just means you separate. Now, how do you separate during these times? How do you separate? Well, men, you sleep on the couch, let your wife have the bed.
She can't sit on.
Well,
It says,
no, I need you to listen. You're going before. You're going a little too fast for me. Let me get there. What I was saying was, you sleep on the couch, fellas. I know some men be like, hell no, I'm gonna sleep in the bed. I'm gonna sleep. No. And the only reason I say let her sleep on the bed is because when she's going through her flowers, most women, they go through that. It's excruciating. The pain, and then they feel nasty, and they just is disgusted with themselves and their life at that moment, and they hate you, and they hate the fact that they going through this. So you let them be as comfortable as possible. So you take the couch. And I'm going to tell you, when your woman see that you giving that way, it'd be all worth the while when she becomes clean again. Oh, my man's so sensitive. Let me show him thank you. So, when she's on her flowers, she's separated for 7 days. So can you do it if you live in an apartment? Yes. Now, the hard part is sharing the toilet. That's the hard part. It's sharing the toilet. So in some cases, if you only have one bathroom, you know, if she unclean, you might be unclean because if you touch the toilet that she sat on, you know. So that's that. But, you know, during those times, maybe you can have a friend, hey, can I come stay with you just for tomorrow? Because my wife is unclean, and I just, you know, you can do that. That's what I used to do. I would go and stay, you know, I would stay at my mom's. She was alive. I would stay at my mom's, or either I would just, you know, avoid it somehow. Actually, I did at one point in time. Not with now, but we only had one bathroom. That's what I did to use the bathroom. That's what I did.
There's such thing as cleaning up after yourself. Lysol wipes, vacuum spray, clean, bleach.
Yeah, I mean, when you do it, you don't just leave it in the floor like I get it when the sun go down. You take it out
whether
with you.
something there or not, like seat off.
Oh no, it's deeper than that. The uncleanness is deeper than that. When a woman sits somewhere for whatever reason, the Almighty has it set up to where if you can't sit behind her, you can sit behind her. You can use the bathroom. You just be unclean. While she on her uncleanness, so no Clorox wipes, and we're gonna read about that. No Clorox wipes or any soap wipes away that law, that statute. That's what I'm saying. See, we talk about we want men that's righteous, but could you handle a man that's gonna be willing to follow this law?
I mean, I look at it as, okay, let's say you're in a hospital. A lot of uncleanness in the hospital. You don't know who, if you inpatient, you don't know who used that bathroom for you. You don't know who body was in that bed or what happened to it, what was going on.
You don't know who
so
died
you got
in
a
there.
lot of
That's true.
uncleanness, but, that's a big ass hospital for, and they supposed to wash their linen real good,
I just think that we are people, and that's something too, that's part of my lesson too. We are under the impression that like, oh, come on, man. The Almighty don't require all that. But when I ask this question, and I've asked this question before, would a person bet their life that the Almighty would not require that of you today? 9 times out of 10, a person be like, nah, I wouldn't bet my life. Then if you don't have confidence in that answer, or you don't have confidence that you would bet your life that he don't require it of us today, then why are you fighting against it? Not you, but people in general. Then why are you fighting against it? Just do the law. Just do the law. And you're absolutely right. When you go to hospitals, man, you don't know who died in them hospitals. Most of the, you know what I'm saying? It's so much going on in them places. You don't know sickness, but, and you're right, but the thing is, this is what it is. Just last week we read the law in Numbers. Or no, that was Leviticus. No, that was Numbers. When it dealt with when you sin through ignorance. No, that was Numbers. I mean Leviticus. When you sin through ignorance. When you sin through ignorance, you don't know. You didn't know that anything was unclean. You don't know. The Almighty holds you accountable for the things that you did know. So if you happen to go somewhere and you sit behind somebody, I'm just going to tell you, you don't know. So if you didn't know, do you really got anything to worry about? But you still want to be careful. You still want to be cautious. Hey, shalom, Bram. Shalom, brother. You still want to be cautious. You still want to be careful. So let's say, for example, you sit somewhere and you like, man, I don't know if this was unclean or not. You know, go home, take a bath, wash your clothes, keep it moving. Keep it moving. If it's that strong of a thing. I mean, I done been in hospitals. I've been in hospitals. You're absolutely right. Hospitals are some of the most disgusting and trifling places. And these are the places where they supposed to give you care from sickness. Some people get sick being in the hospital. But regardless of that fact, it don't change the law. Don't change that law. What, y'all women so thirsty you can't be away from your man for 7 days? Y'all men so thirsty you can't be away from your woman for 7 days?
If you're in a situation where your woman's on a flower cycle and you have no go,
then you have to do what you
have
yeah.
that. You get a porta potty or something, or
Hell, if you can
go
afford it.
outside in the woods. I mean,
If that's what the person chooses to do. But like I said, there's just some instances that you can't. See, that's what the problem is. Our people, the Almighty's people, like you shaking your head like, oh, whatever, is not willing to, at this point in your mind, you already got it fixed, like, oh, whatever. So you've already done shut me out. So now I'm gonna talk to those that may still hold on to listening. I didn't say that you gotta walk around and be in a box and do all that. That ain't what I said. There's really nothing you can do in that fact. You just, if she unclean and you in a space and you can't do nothing else, well, you just unclean.
Yeah.
Y'all just unclean together. Y'all take your bath, and then at the end of the, you take your bath. You just, if you don't bathe a lot, you probably just bathing a lot more. Instead of just getting up and taking a shower, you getting up and you running water and you taking a bath. I can't change the law.
So,
It's really, we make it hard. We make it hard because we want to be like, whatever, I ain't doing all that. Well, then, if a person chooses not to, don't. They don't have to. They don't have to. Well, I take that back. I'm not going to be that person y'all willing anymore to tell you don't have to keep the law. That ain't going to be me. We have to keep the law. But if you choose not to, then that's on you. If you feel like, oh, that's doing too much, well, then that's on you. Take that up with the Most High. I didn't create this. You think I wanted to create a law to keep me separated from my wife for 7 days? This is the law. This is something, a statute that the Almighty created. And then when you do the science behind it, you look at it like, man, when a woman is on her flowers, especially when during that time, men like to be even more frisky, so to speak, during that time. And that's the most disgusting, because through that blood, that's the woman, that's your cleansing process. That's the regeneration of your uterus, and you old stuff is coming off and it's coming out through the blood. That leaves you susceptible to diseases. That leaves the man susceptible to diseases. You understand? So, yeah. So the Almighty says, look, it could be the Almighty was like, look, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to separate you for 7 days. And that way, maybe you won't have that urge. Maybe you won't have that urge to want to lay with her. Now, you can sleep in the bed with her. If that's what you choose to do, but know that this is the law. If you choose to do that, well, I'm not going to say you can. I'm going to say if you do. If you do, then this is the procedure in the law. Because if you lay in the bed with her and y'all spooning together, and she come on her flowers and it gets on you, now you unclean for the same 7 days that she is. And wherever you sit as a man is unclean. And we'll read that. We're going to read that. So before any more questions outside of, if you have a question, I may answer it as I read. All right. Now, let me get into this. Now, we dealt with the 7 day separation. Okay. Verse 20. We're in Leviticus 15 and verse 20. It says, "And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she lieth or sitteth upon shall be unclean." So in other words, if she sit on the couch during the time of her uncleanliness, that couch is unclean. If you as the man choose to sit behind her, then know that you're going to be unclean. That's the process. She lay in the bed, she unclean, the bed is unclean while she's in it. You choose to lay next to her, you just unclean too. That's the process. This is not hard. We make it hard because we don't want to serve the Almighty, because we want to serve ourselves. But this is the law. Verse 21, it says, "And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even." Does this sound hard? Really? Does this sound difficult? To just take a bath. And just, if you gotta wash your clothes, just throw them in the washer. During that week, y'all water bill might go up just a little bit because you're washing a lot. Okay. We make it hard. It's not hard at all. It's not. And do y'all know that how many good people we turn away because we too lazy to do this? It's nothing. It's nothing. Really, it's not. The Almighty didn't say you got to live on a mountain. You know, that he ain't say we got to have 2 apartments. One for when she unclean, and then one you live in together. He ain't say that. He lets us know that if you're going to cohabitate together, that when she's unclean, this is the process of which you have to do. Whatever she lie on is unclean during her uncleanliness. Some men may disagree with me when I said let the woman have the bed. That's fine. But I learned from wisdom that you let the woman have the bed during that time. Now that don't mean that the woman can be an a-hole, because some women like to use that and be like, I'm on my period, so I hate everybody. No, that's not cool. Because I come in with attitudes too. Does that make it okay for me to be all the time? No. No, but be understanding. Like, yo, she on her flowers. Okay, baby, I'll sleep out here on the couch. Hell, my wife and man, I slept on an air mattress during that time. Let my wife have a whole bed. What's hard about that? Other than convenience. Let's finish reading. And I got some comments on here too. It says, in verse 21, and whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And whosoever touches anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. So let's say she sat on the toilet. Okay, you had to go use the toilet. Ain't nobody saying you got to hold your urine or your poop. You go use the bathroom. But no, when you get up, okay, now I know that I got to bathe because I sat behind my wife because she was unclean. So what's difficult about that? Nothing. Other than what we make difficult.
Flowers.
Mhm.
Like you're on clean period when you use the restroom, whether it's number 1, number 2, y'all your flowers.
Well,
Clean. If
what-
it gets on the toilet seat, it's clean. Just clean it. I mean,
well, see, this uncleanliness ain't talking about just sitting down on and pooping and peeing. This is specifically
but
dealing
that's
with.
uncleanness.
But what I'm saying is, this is only talking about one type of uncleanliness. This ain't talking about anything else. See, that's what draw people too, because we want to be like, oh my gosh, what about all the other uncleanlinesses? Well, let's stay focused on the one that he's talking about. He ain't talking about if someone pees on the toilet, oh, that's uncleanness, or if somebody's just trifling and poop and leave it, or put a stain or whatever. He ain't talking about that. He's talking about specifically if a woman is on her flowers. That's what this is dealing with. We ain't dealing with no other cleanliness. Now, let's say that you sit and you use a toilet at a hospital. Unless that uncleanliness is dealing with this, then it's just nasty. Now, that type of uncleanness or impurity, you can take and wipe off and be okay. But when it comes to this 7-day uncleanliness, that's what we're discussing. And that's what the Almighty is setting that law up for. Not anything else. Now that don't mean we go and sit around and, ooh, I'm gonna use this toilet. It don't matter. I ain't gonna be unclean. That ain't talking about that. This is dealing with if a woman is on her flowers. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what about a miscarriage? Because a female will bleed during that time too, but most of the time it's for longer than 7 days that they bleed out.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that too. That's deep because this covers that. Very good question. Very good question. Very good question. So let's go to 22. It says, and whatsoever touches anything, and whosoever touches anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. This is just dealing with the woman on her flowers. That's it. And the reason being is because this is a process of cleanliness. This is how the Almighty, and I'm using this example to show that it is possible to be holy during these times. The Almighty, when you read about the Almighty deals with us. Do you know that Israel is a clean nation? Even when we had camps set up, the Almighty was like, if you need to go poop or relieve yourself, take a shovel with you and go outside the camp Because I'm going to be walking in the midst of the camp and I don't want to step in your mess. That's how we have become so westernized that we are, and it ain't even being westernized. We are so connected to other nations, and it's so destructive because other nations, you got some nations that'll tell you you only need to bathe, you only need to take a shower once a day, or once a week, I should say, or not at all. There was even a woman who said that you shouldn't wipe after you poop. Yes, but that is trifling, but these are the people that we're listening to before we listen to the Almighty. She said, you should not wipe when you poop. And then she went into some history like, we didn't do that. You a lie. You a lie. Like, you shouldn't wipe. You understand? You shouldn't wipe. Like, man, stop. But these are the same people that we listen to. But when the Almighty say, this is what I need you to do. I need you to bathe. Oh my gosh, that's just too much. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, it's not hard. It's not. It's really not. So then it's talking about, okay, so whatever you sit on, whatever she sat on, you touch it, boom. Now, and verse 24 says, and if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him. Now you laid with her. Let's say it happened during the night, because a lot of times there's some women that wake up and be like, oh, I was expecting it, but not so soon, or it was a little late, whatever the case may be. This is talking about too, because some women feel like, may also talk about what if there's a cut? What if I was talking about if I get cut? Am I unclean if I get cut? No. That's not the same uncleanness as this. All right, this is dealing with the flowers. It says, and if a woman have an issue, and if, verse 24, and if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days. And all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean. So, let's say you laying in the bed, you wake up, both of y'all covered in that. The man knows, like, damn, I'm unclean with you, babe. So wherever I sit or wherever I lay is unclean too. So I'm with you. So we're both unclean. And then you get up and you bathe yourself, change your sheets, and you move on with your day. That's it. That's it. All right. Now, check this out. Now, this is answering your question. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of her issue of her uncleanliness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. Do you understand what that is saying?
So, like, as long as you are bleeding, basically, you're unclean.
Yes. If it's coming from, from your flowers. Right. If it's coming from your flowers. Now, let's say a woman goes 7 days and she looks down and she says, ooh, I'm still spotty. You go 7 days and then you go to day 8. You like, dang, I'm still spotty. You like, okay, so I'm unclean. So then you go to day 9 and you look and you go, oh, okay, cool. I'm not spotted no more. So then that evening comes, you take your bath and you're clean. You don't have to go another 7 days.
And
you're clean.
You have to wait the 7 days, right?
You have to go to 7 days. So some women have their cycle stop in 3 days. Some women only go 3 days. Well, you may stop your cycle, but the length of time that the Almighty set up is the 7 days. Why? What if you start up again within that 7-day cycle? Then you don't have to, if you go 3 days and you be like, oh, I stopped, I'm not, but then on the 4th day you spotting again, that's fine. That's still within that 7-day process. Now, if it goes to 9 days or beyond, then the day that you stop is the day that you count as part of your uncleanness. So you don't have to start it over again. Now, what happens if you stop? Your 7 days go, you stopped. You good. The next day, you good. Then the day after, you looking, you start bleeding again. Do you have to start the process over again? Yes. You have to go another 7 days. And in the midst of that, see your OBGYN too. To find out what's going on. Yes. And you just go another 7 days. Even if you only bleed that one day, because it started up again, then you will go, you'll be like, okay, but I got to go another 6 days because the 7th day, you count that. Now, see, it's really not hard. We make it difficult because we don't want to do it. So I got a few comments here. I'm going to go over. Let me go back up here. Let's see. Praise y'all, Brother Bram. Thank you. Yeah, Brother Gary says she's unclean 7 whole days. That's right. That's right. And then my brother Bram, Bram, you silly, man. So then my brother Bram says she had a bed of her separation. We separated ourselves. So if you can afford to do this, you might have a house where you be like, if you got another room, you might say, if it, especially if it's your, you might have another room, be like, listen, this is your room here when you're on your uncleanliness. And I'm gonna tell you something. Don't you sisters like when don't y'all like being separated during that time? Y'all already feel icky. Y'all already feel hurt. Ooh, that's disgusting. That's nasty. I wouldn't want to be up under nobody and I'm doing that. I wouldn't even want to touch. Don't touch me.
Like, how would you be alone? But like,
Well, you ain't gonna be oh my gosh, just listen. You ain't gonna be alone. But I'm just saying.
There's multiple reasons to separate yourself other than.
Well, we ain't talking about them. We talking about the uncleanliness of a woman. That's what we're talking about. There are multiple reasons to separate oneself, but we're only sticking with the topic of a woman being unclean. And then too, absence makes the heart grow fonder. You in the same house. If you that thirsty to where I can't be without you, you be like, damn, baby, you in the same room. You might need to get counseling because that's a problem. You understand? And if you with a man, it's like, if I gotta watch him, because if I don't watch him, he gonna be out here with somebody else, then you don't need to be in that relationship in the first place. I'm just throwing it out there in case a woman feels that way.
So,
But what I'm saying is, that's what my brother Bram says he does in his house. He has a separate room maybe, or a separate bed, and that's comfortable for her. Because some women may have easy flowers. My daughter, hers is not easy. When she get hit, she is that's the one time I'll be like, okay, baby, I understand. Understand you a little hot right now. You know, in her response. I'll be like, babe, she'll be like, yes. I'll be like, oh, she on her thing. I got it. It's cool. You know, it's only gonna be so many though. Oh, you know what I'm saying? But my daughter is very respectful. Praise y'all. But you know, to separate so that she can have that space, she can heal. Maybe set up the room where she can have some soft music in there. Maybe set up some aromatherapy in there. And just, it don't have to be where she in a room with a bed. She ain't in prison. You know, maybe set it up like this would be your uncleanliness space. Get her a nice little comfortable chair for her to read or listen to music where she can meditate. You know what I'm saying? Hell, during that time, you cook as the man. If y'all got the time. If you know what I'm saying, if you work and you get home in time, you cook and be like, here, during this time that you're unclean here, I cooked for you and I cooked for the other children. You just chill out and rest. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times, women might even have issues with their periods because they don't really get a chance to really relax. Because they already, most women, especially if they're working, they can't call the job and be like, hey, I'm on my period for 7 days, so I ain't going to come in. Their job be like, well, don't worry about coming in ever. You know what I'm saying? Unless you your own boss. But even if you own your boss, you can't really do that. But yeah, so set up the room to where she maybe got some meditation music, something where she can just pamper herself during that time. You know what I'm saying? And then let her know that even if you stop on the third day, babe, this is your space. You stay in there. You tell the children you're not allowed in there. I want to talk to mommy. Write her a letter. You understand? Text her. But I want mommy. And you know, if mommy say it's okay, then you let it happen. But you at that point, you be like, look, we all going because mommy, this is her time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a great idea. It's a great idea because sometimes who want, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I just think I think it's a great idea. So he said he does that. Then it also says here, Brother Brown, silly. And then he said, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with you, Brother Brown, 100. So basically, if you, as the woman, if you're unclean and it goes past 7 days, on the day that you stop, that's the day that you clean yourself, and that's the day you're clean. Okay? All right. Now, let's go to verse 26. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unclean unto her. As the bed of her separation, and whatsoever she lieth upon shall be unclean as the uncleanness of her separation. So it said, every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unclean. All right, yes, ma'am.
Is it different from like after you have a baby, or do these same rules?
No. These same rules apply. For example, and we can read about that. Because there's a certain amount, shalom, there's a certain amount of day, I think it's 2:00. There's a certain amount of days where I think
I know we went
I think it's 60 days for a boy and 80 days for a girl. So if you have a girl, you're unclean for that amount of time.
Oh, I thought that was just you couldn't come into the sanctuary.
You can't. You're unclean for the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that long. So those are the rules, but also these.
Mhm. Yes, yes. And we can read about that too.
We went over it. I thought that was
Shalom.
the sanctuary.
So what we're going to go ahead and do. Oh, thank you, Brother Brown. It's 40 days for a male child and 80 days for if you have a girl. Thanks, Brother Brown. I appreciate that. Praise Yah. So,
That means that you can't touch the baby.
oh, you can touch the baby. Yeah, you can touch the baby. You unclean, not the baby.
But if you think about it, the baby came
You
out
thinking too much and you adding to the. I'm keeping it soup. That's what gets us frustrated sometimes. Because you're adding. I might even say you can touch the baby. You're unclean.
And this is whoever touch it.
This is dealing. This ain't dealing with the baby though. We ain't even in that law yet. Whatever touch it. Very good. I'm glad you said that. What verse is that?
Well, it's 22. It says whoever touches anything she sat upon.
So you gonna be sitting on your baby?
Like the baby could be on the bed.
So you gonna sit on the baby? So you gonna sit on the baby? You gonna sit on the baby?
But the baby's gonna be in my bed.
Okay. But the baby's not unclean. You are. Unless you choose to sit on the baby. Unless you like, I wonder how this feels. They soft. Yeah. The baby's not gonna be unclean. He can take the father can take the baby. You can take the, well, you already unclean, but the father can take the baby and take care of the baby and all that good stuff. Yeah. I had to say that because I don't want men saying, that's right, brother. That's right, sister. The baby is unclean. They'd be like, well, I can't touch the baby. You got to get her. No. You better get in there as a man and be like, give me the baby. I got you, baby. Take a break. Yeah. Now, we can read that law. Like I said, we'll get into it because I'm going to answer the questions from last week, y'all willing. Dreams, spiritual, spirits, and all that great stuff. So we're going to talk about that. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the baby's not unclean, but you are. see how easy the law is for real? See how we make it difficult? Because we want to add stuff to it? No. Your question was very valid. However, that's what we do. We don't want to take the law at face value because it can't be that easy. Because maybe if we looked at the law as being like, dang, that's it. It would make us feel even worse for not doing the law. Maybe a lot of us don't do the law, and we're going to get into that too. Like I said, got some stuff I was meditating on this week. But maybe that's what makes it difficult to do the law, because we do the most, as opposed to just following at face value. If Yahweh say when it's cold, put on socks, what do? Well, wait a minute. When it's cold, shouldn't we wear boots? What about mittens? What about a coat? What about? Well, what about just doing what he said? What about that? Right? That's it. And it also talks about this. We'll finish up this and then we'll end. It says, okay, in verse number okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. Where's the verse? Okay, very good. 23. I skipped it. Now it's dealing with this. In verse 23, it says, and if it be on her bed or on anything whereon she sitteth, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until the evening. Now, what is the it? Give a guess. He says flowers. What else?
Blood.
The flowers. Very good. That's what he's talking about. Now, this is an instance where you was changing the sheets for her. Because some women have very bad menstruals. So you're changing the sheets for her, and you went and you grabbed the sheet and you touched it. This is an instance where the Almighty said, if you touch it, then you're just going to be unclean for the evening. Just go bathe yourself. You don't have to go through the 7-day cycle, because all you did was you did touch it. That was it. See how easy that is? And in the minds of somebody that's listening right now, it's probably like, wait a minute, hold on. But right here it say this. Yes, the Almighty got the right to set it up however he wants it to be set up. All he said is if you touch it, you're just unclean for 7 days. I mean, you're unclean just for that moment. You go bathe yourself, you clean in the evening. Now, if you laying with her and it gets on you, now that's a whole nother circumstance. Now you're unclean 7 days, just like she is. All right. That wasn't even part of my lesson. See, that's what I be talking about, man. That's why, in all seriousness, it's not part of my lesson, but this is what I'm talking about. I'm not reprimanding. I'm not fussing. I love these type of lessons. I love them because it shows that you go off the beaten path. It's okay. It don't have to be from my notes. That means you're thinking. I don't know about no other congregation, but I love this congregation. Because y'all think and y'all challenge. Y'all challenge. That's beautiful. Y'all don't just sit there and look at me and be like, well, okay. And then talk about it behind your back. Did you hear what Brother Michael said? That sounds foolish. Y'all challenge me, and I love that. I love to be challenged. And I think that is beautiful. That's why when I was in here, kind of by myself, it's kind of like nobody challenging me for real. Not that I come in here looking for challenges, but, I love when I'm teaching and someone asks, well, what about this? What about that? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Are there any comments or questions about uncleanness? Did you want to see about the period of time for a woman being
Well, we went over it before. Already.
okay? Okay, so you got to understand it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, perfect. Okay, because get prepared because one day y'all gonna do a presentation, and I'm gonna come at y'all like with a lot of mercy. You said what?
And then I'm gonna become your favorite student.
Of
Come
course.
out and
Of course. So, with that being said, we're going to stop here. Praise Yahweh. I want to thank everybody. Now, listen, we're going to pause here, and then y'all willing, we'll be back at 3 o'clock. We'll do 3:05. We'll be back at 3:10. We'll be back at 3:10. 3:10 with the next portion. I'm gonna have questions. So come on back, Bram, Gary, my wife, and whoever was listening as well. Oh, and brother Gary brought out the point too about to ask about, did Rachel lie to Isaac? Was that considered a lie? Because I asked a question about is there a time to lie in a relationship? So we can dig into that, y'all willing, if we had time, because I know my brother had brought that point out. So brother Garrett, y'all come back. All y'all come back. I appreciate y'all being on here. Praise the mighty Yah. But we're gonna go ahead and take. We'll be back at 3. All right, Bram. Yeah, 3:10. We'll be back at 3:10, Bram. But yeah, we'll be back at 3:10. Praise Yahweh. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and pray out. Praise Yah. We'll face the east and pray out. Nephew, you pray us out, man.
Praise
Praise the mighty Yah.
Heavenly Father, Yahweh Elohim, thank you for allowing us to see this day. Thanks for bringing us to this week, oh Yah. Guiding us, protecting us, and keeping us. It's all fit for us to see another day. As we go into this day, oh Yah, pray that you may be with us, that we keep our foot, if not the sacrifice of the fools. That we use wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. To this day, oh Yah, for it is thy holy Shabbat. Pray me to forgive and take care of our fathers and our mothers, brothers and our sisters, our foreparents, spiritual themselves.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Righteous.
Yah is righteous.
Praise God.
Hallelujah. Yah bless thee and keep thee. Yah make your face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up your countenance upon thee and give thee peace. They shall put my name upon the children of Israel. I will bless them. Bless you, Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right. Well, y'all willing, we'll be back at 3:10 with the second portion of class. Come on back. Bring your questions. Bring your comments. Earlier, I had asked a question about Adam and Eve and about was that actual fruit or was that just metaphoric? And we had a good conversation about that. So maybe we'll bring that around again if you didn't get to hear it last time. So come on back at 3:10 for the next portion of today's Sabbath services. Praise Yahweh. May Yah bless us and keep us. Shalom, shalom. Remember, 3:10. Praise Yah.
I don't know that. Ask him if he wants one. We might take one.